Welcome to the acclaimed podcast, The Deep Dive, featuring your esteemed hosts, Andy Monitor and Drew Dinzik, powered by BetSperts.
Welcome to The Deep Dive. Monday morning, middle of summer, which means we're going to be talking about a bad football team today, Andy, because that's the way this works.
That is how Mondays go. We almost should we go backwards one of these times.
I don't know.
What's worse?
Talk about the shit teams on Monday, personally.
Yeah, you know what? You're right. It is. You're not in a good mood because it's Monday. Let's just shit all over a team.
It's not about mood. It's just like my brain's usually not entirely working on Monday for reasons.
I know, but sometimes the good teams are easier to talk about. Although, if you missed any from last week, obviously the Niners were a very tricky one. We're like, hey, here's a roster we hate, and they're gonna win 13 games, I guess.
And I mean, ultimately, we're talking about a bad football team today, but we're going to be talking about a lot of bad football teams, or at least incomplete football teams this week, because we are doing the AFC East, Andy. Yeah. And the AFC East has three teams that are very unlikely to win the division, but could finish in conceivably any order. I mean, realistically, 7, 8, 9 wins feels like it's getting you second in the AFC East.
Yeah, I've already been on record as saying I've been pretty low on Miami. And obviously
it's not going well for Miami. The cornerback room, the offensive lines doesn't seem to be remotely fixed in New England. And the Jets have a quarterback question mark.
I don't know. Even if I tried to do the opposite thing where it's like, I'm not excited about Justin Fields at all. Like it's not something that excites me. So you know how when we've talked about this, when you're handicapping anything, I love this golfer to win this week. I love this team to cover the spread this week. Go try to find contradictory evidence. Go try to find something to beat up your handicap. Try to counterpoint. You try to debate yourself and try to find reasons why not, and then weigh your options at the end before you submit. And it's kind of the opposite. Like I tried to find good things. The opposite. I did the opposite. I'm not excited about him. I tried to find nice things. I looked at a bunch of splits. I tried to look at, different time frames or when he would have been in a better position to play quarterback at a high enough level to get excited about him moving it. And I really just couldn't do it. If you pull even a nice sizable sample and then wash out some of the, I don't know what part you want to wash out. It's not like he was in a horrific position everywhere he went or every year during his short stint. And I think the reason people are excited about him is because they are just they're like a fucking barnacle to the hull of a ship. they're so stuck on a few years ago we saw Geno do it. And then we saw Baker gets in a new spot, and he was a high draft pick, and suddenly Baker Mayfield he's a top 10
Darnold.
Sam Darnold was a garbage pile, and he won 14 games or whatever they did. So this is something this is just something that happens. So why not us? Why not now? I mean, there are some reasons, and truthfully, it's, for every one of those that happens, I guess there's 5 that don't. But we'll say that is maybe the biggest positive of that. He is 26. If, it's 26 and it's a short-term deal. I don't know what else you were going to do. I don't think if it was Kirk Cousins running in here or God knows who else, you didn't really have maybe the capital to go up and get the quarterback you wanted in a weak quarterback class. So I sympathize. There wasn't a ton you were going to do at this point.
Okay. Yeah. I really don't.
He seems to be the crux of everything, whether people are like, oh, this team could overperform or, this team is, I think the more realistic takes are this team is like the Cardinals where, hey, we brought in some coaches that could maybe do a better job, somebody with a better idea of roster construction. And in a couple of years, this could be a good team. But ahead of the Cardinals, they actually have some, you get Sauce.
They got a couple talented young players.
You got Wilson. You got a couple Williamses. You have some good players. You're further ahead of the curve than some rebuilds. but for my money, this is absolutely still
Yeah.
this is a hard rebuild.
Pretty wild that this is going on effectively year 5 of Justin Fields as a week 1 starter in the NFL.
It's like a bit at this point.
I would say it. I know technically as a rookie, he didn't start week 1. He started like week 3 or something, but
yeah,
he was plan A for Chicago in 2022. He was plan A for Chicago in 2023. And I guess he was plan B for the Steelers last year while they were waiting for Russell Wilson to get up to speed. But I mean, he was plan A, A2 after A1 Wilson. I don't think they really, they were perfectly fine with that as a plan, I suppose. Damn, he started 6 games for Pittsburgh last year. I forgot about that. Won 4 out of the 6 games he started. It's crazy.
That high-powered Steelers offense.
Yeah, right. So yeah, I mean, I don't know that I totally get why. I guess your point of when you feel like you've kind of predetermined your feelings about a team, and so you make the opposite case just to see if you're missing something. As I kind of did that for the Jets, which I do the same sort of exercise. As I did that for the Jets, everything I kind of came up with made me question things even more. Right?
Yeah, but I know. I started with a pretty high number for the
on something like Fields, like the system that they ran in Detroit is so very, very different than anything that qualifies within Fields' skill set that he does well. And so you're either going to ask him to do something he doesn't do well, or you're going to kind of build a new system on the fly around his strengths. Is it the in general the Fields plus the carryover of Lions system that's come along with Aaron Glenn is just oil and water. And I kind of feel that way about some of the defensive pieces in Glenn's system as well. Like, it kind of feels like you might have made a good hire with your coach. At least he's an adult. I can't count the times I've heard people say, at least there's an adult in the room now. And it's like, that's not very flattering of everyone who was in charge before. And, ultimately the fish rots from the head and the owner's still there. So is it really that different? But, I don't have any, allegiance or belief that this GM is like the next guy. And just on paper, it feels a little bit like mismatched pieces. When you look at sort of what this coaching staff would like to do, presumably, and the pieces that they have to work with and where their strengths lie, because there's clashing strengths and weaknesses and roles and responsibilities here in a lot of ways. And so I'm kind of expecting it just to not work.
Yeah. And we have Aaron Glenn, who I guess you should be excited about, but at the same time, we do this all the time where it's like, hey, here's a guy that he was a DC somewhere and we're hoping he can be a good leader of men. He's saying all the right things. And I just hate some of these articles. Like, again, I'm not saying they're wrong and that Aaron Glenn is going to absolutely flame out, but they're like, oh, he got the vote of confidence from Ben Johnson. Somebody quoted Ben Johnson saying, I can't think of somebody who's more qualified to be a head coach than Aaron Glenn. It's like, well, what else is he going to say? Like,
what?
Yeah. What is it? I was carrying the team. Aaron Glenn got lucky. The defense kind of sucked. The injuries were his fault. What else is he going to say about his buddy? Like, of course he's going to say nice things. And that is not to say that I don't think he'll do a fine job, but it's a massive question mark. We saw it in Seattle last year. Even if McDonald succeeds in the long run, week 1, round 1, year 1 can be kind of rocky as somebody tries to rebuild. In his case, a defense and a full team in his, in his model and how he wants to do things. And at the same time, you bring in a first-time play caller, which people are excited. Oh, it's no more Hackett anymore. This is a quarterback's coach. That's another one where it's kind of hit or miss. You got guys, he passed Sean McVay in the hallway, so he's going to be good. That was the thought process on Kevin O'Connell. Like,
yeah.
Granted, that worked out. It does work out sometimes. It turns out, smart people get get promoted. Smart people get head coaching jobs, and Kevin O'Connell is definitely, a spot
Worthy,
where they succeeded. But we saw, I mean, there's a couple of hires by the Niners on the defensive side. I mean, I'm not a Raheem Morris guy. I don't think that's, been maybe worked out as well as people were excited about at times. Like it can be hit or miss. And it's like, well, this guy was Ben Johnson's, quarterback's coach.
It is funny that there is a through line between a lot of reclamation projects succeeding in other places and being formally associated with the Jets when they failed. Todd Bowles fits in that discussion squarely in that discussion. He is succeeding down in Tampa. Won a Super Bowl. It's funny that the Jets seem to be a place where people go to fail and then move on to greener pastures. Gangrene, no pun intended. All right. Let's talk about their season last year a bit here. It is a very, very difficult autopsy. I don't think I had anything right about my read on them when we did their preview last year. I basically was like, oh my God, you have God tier pieces all over this defense. How can it fail? Oh my God, Aaron Rodgers might not be great, but he doesn't have to be great. You just has to be average. And all of a sudden this might be a 10-win team. And, what shit, man, if things break right, are they hosting playoff games?
Where did this look good? Do you remember where this looked really good?
You mean among games that we saw last year? Or?
No, preseason. It looked good on paper.
Yeah, on paper.
We were I feel like we were pretty much in lockstep on that. We were in agreement where they have a bunch of pieces on the defense that are very good.
Yeah.
Even if Aaron Rodgers is a shell of himself and he's middle of the pack, you have a good wide receiver, a good running back. You've done some things.
Yes, you might go get Devontae Adams. That rumor was floating around all freaking preseason.
And eventually they did.
They did.
The season went pear-shaped in a hurry. It did look really good. I mean, the roster, I don't think anyone can disagree with that. The roster coming in last year looked good on paper. The defense underperformed. The injuries bug bit. The quarterback play was horrid. And then they fired a coach and the defense got much, much, much worse.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the year, they got rid of everything. I mean, they just threw it all in the trash.
Yeah. Shout out to our old friend Adam Chernoff, but on paper, it looked like a simple handicap, Andy. This defense was on the field constantly in 2022 and 2023. They were asked to do everything. They were asked to keep a team above water with the likes of Zach Wilson under center. And they did it. And now you're like, oh, now here comes a future Hall of Famer back from his Achilles. We're finally going to find out if this experiment has any legs. And, that it was like the downside just didn't look anywhere close to what it actually was. It was like on paper, the downside did not look like it could be this bad. And a lot of that really kind of spun around the defense. And I think there are two key takeaways from this, the defensive performance from last year, because it was bad like this. And it wasn't fueled by injuries. This wasn't like, well, Quinn Williams and Sauce Gardner get hurt week one. Of course they were bad. Yeah. No, these guys played. Like everybody was available. They just played shittier. And so it's like a little tough to explain, well, what the hell happened? And I would say I kind of fall in a couple of different camps here in terms of thinking, and I want your opinion on this. But the brains in our space will hammer ad nauseum that defense is not sticky year over year. There's a lot of variance. Ton of it, good defenses look good sometimes just because they happen to play a lot of bad quarterbacks. Good defenses look good sometimes just because things were vibing. Everybody was trying hard. Defense is a lot of effort anyway. And in general, the lack of stickiness, some people just throw their hands up and says, well, don't count on it, right? If you saw a defense be good last year, just don't count on it being good again. And who knows why, right? I want to hang the Jets defensive failures on kind of three parts here, three rungs.
Tripod.
The tripod, three legs of the tripod here. The first was the linebacking room got old immediately, all at the same time. And that the linebacking play was pretty poor. Second is the kind of the wear and tear and the effort and the fatigue that went into carrying the team for 2 years. That pretty much showed up and got worse as the season went on because those guys they just didn't have the same zip and the same juice. And then, and the third was probably a little bit of effort. Like, I think the defense was kind of like, once it was clear that the offense was not going to be good, the defensive guys, I feel like we were like, oh, we can't do this again. Like, I don't really feel like just leaving my, running myself into the ground. Our coach got fired. I don't know what this new guy is calling, but I don't like it. Like, I'm getting paid. Like, I think we just reset. And I think the effort really was pretty suspect from this group for a lot of the year. So, I don't know if you have any other thoughts as to what in the world happened. I don't think it is just as defense is random as other people would say. I think there was certainly some specific, kind of circumstances we can point to.
No, as hard as it is to say, just like Sauce should just have a bounce back year, right? I mean, I would buy that over he sucks and he's done. Because he looked that way at times, and it did become a bit of a problem when, hey, the offense is bad for big parts of the season. We're not getting the quarterback play we thought we should. We're definitely not getting enough out of the receivers, and we're still kind of breaking in an offensive line that we're trying to sort out. We need you guys to be able to stop the run because we're going to be trailing a lot. And like you said, the linebacker play, the interior defensive line, and I mean, all the way up the spine, just the run stop got worse and worse and worse. Obviously, everything worsened when Salah was let go. And that was such a bad combination of we have an inept offense and we can't stop the run, and it's continuing to get worse. And teams are kind of keying in on that. And we got blown out they got blown out a few times, but it was just like there's kind of a blueprint to beating the Jets. It's just like, well, you don't have to be an all-world defense to stop what they're doing right now, because the coordinator and the game plan aren't wowing anybody. You're not going up against a great offensive mind here, and then take the lead. You definitely can run against this team. And like you said, the effort looked suspect. I mean, obviously Mosley was let go. It was a bit of a cap casualty kind of thing, but I don't know. I don't think that was a bad move. Most of the people they let go, it's like, it's fine. Like Aaron Rodgers, obviously that's fine. Devontae Adams, released. I think it was kind of this is not a spot
mutual parting of ways.
Yeah,
we're getting younger.
Yeah, we're getting younger. You're not. This is best for all of us. Not that he's a bad player. Mosley, Morgan Moses, and who's the other offensive lineman that is gone now?
There
was Smith, Tyron Smith. Yeah. So just age. I guess you lost age and expense. A lot of the offseason was probably fine, I guess. DJ Reed, I would have loved to keep him, but other than that, Javon Kinlaw and Ashton Davis. I don't think this team as a roster got markedly worse, but at the same time, when I'm looking at how they're filling it in, I'm struggling to see how this is like a year one surprise kind of team with first-year play caller Tanner Engstrad. I'm not even sure I'm saying that in there.
Hey, Andy, you know what I know about Tanner Engstrad?
Jack shit.
I know he's an upgrade over Nathaniel Hackett. That's about all I know. I would say that there is definitely, like, I guess here's another kind of sort of confounding wrinkle of their offseason. You bring in Aaron Glenn, who's a defensive mind. Aaron Glenn has made chicken salad out of chicken shit for many years in Detroit.
Yeah.
And I think unquestionably, you look at the talent on the defense of this, this Jets roster, and you're like, oh, well, if he did that with that, then what's he going to do with these ingredients? Because there's some much shinier toys to play with here on this defensive side of the ball. And you're like, okay, cool. So he's, see what he can get out of this. And kind of rather than obviously putting his personal touch on the defense, he hired Steve Wilkes to coordinate the defense. That's square?
Different styles of defense, very much.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody has kind of pointed that out preseason. But I think that's fine because nobody is like, I go out there and run 100% man coverage, and I go out there and run 100% this kind of pressure and this kind of front, and these adjustments. It's probably good to have a little bit of a combo there, and I don't think Wilkes is a bad defensive mind, so I don't hate it. I think the defense has a lot of pieces, and I feel like at the end of the year, if I'm making upgrades off the numbers we'll give out later in the show, I'm much more likely that it's on the defensive side of the ball. Just because of the players that are available and the people coordinating, and I don't know that there's this big upside with Justin Fields again.
I mean, realistically, like the big upgrade might come week 5 after Fields gets benched on Monday Night Football and we see Tyrod Taylor take over. Yeah. Like there's a world where Tyrod Taylor actually does what the Detroit style of offense is supposed to be and might be the better choice for at least competency on that side of the ball.
And that's the other big question mark you get, not only when someone hires a new OC, but in this case, even more shrouded in mystery because it's a guy who's never called plays.
Yeah.
What are we going to get? And you get a lot of the boilerplate. We want to be explosive. We want to be detailed. Some of the words, but it does seem like
God. I love a detailed offense.
I do love a detailed offense. But the stuff he is saying, or the stuff we're reading, and the stuff we know it is a very similar run game to what they ran last year. Like Detroit and the Jets had similar run schemes. Obviously, massive gaps in success, but also just the way they called the way they called the way they called the offense and the tackle play that you got in Detroit compared to what you get in New York were very different. And this just the scheme and obviously committing to it. They were, I believe, the lowest in the league as far as runs per game.
The Jets were?
Which I mean, game state is also going to dictate that.
Sure, yeah.
But it's going to be a lot of outside zone. It's going to be more power, more, hopefully better, I guess. I do see this offensive line having some upside, and you do have a good running back. Having a different.
They don't think they have a good running back, apparently.
No, I know it. We'll see how that goes. I don't think you want to be all eggs in a basket on any running back unless his name is like Saquon or there's like 3 of them.
Sure.
You can really
but there's that, and then there's kind of communicating to him preseason, like, hey, we're not going to extend you. Like, so I'm playing for my dinner this year. Okay, thank you.
And it's not because we don't like you; it's because of the position you play.
Yeah, it's because of the position you play, and because we have so many other holes that we're going to have to try to address, and we can't handicap ourselves by giving you any of that money. Sorry. Anyway, the idea of using a run first, establish the run type of scheme and system with this group. I mean, aside from the fact that you're taking the ball out of Justin Fields' hands, which I'm fine with.
Are you?
Well, that's fair. That's fair.
That's where I wonder I wonder how much they're going to call his number. It's not like, he's the future of the franchise. We can't have him taking hits. Like, hey, let's get him out in space. Let's see what he can do. He's sneaky fast.
Yeah. I don't know. It's to me, at least, like you said, like without the road grading that they had in Detroit, without the elite, running back play, 2-headed monster, and with a passer that's lacking in the precision and the touch and the accuracy that Jared Goff put on display when it was so beautiful in Detroit. It all kind of just feels like this looks like a pretty defendable team. Let's just stack the box and see if Fields can beat us by throwing precision passes 15 to 20 yards down the field in the middle of the field.
The odds of it being a Tanner Engstrand surprised us all. It doesn't feel good.
No,
not just because of him and it's his first year calling plays, but and we'll get to the rosters a little more again later. But incredibly weak tight end room, incredibly weak wide receiver room outside of one guy.
Yes,
it depends how you feel about Braylon Allen and maybe some of the other pieces behind him, but it's not a strong skill group all around. The offensive line has many a case for upside, but there's still plenty of cases for downside too. It might not be good because of the roster. He just, might not be able to fully enact his vision out on the field with what he's working with right now. So I'm willing to be patient with the coaching staff, less so on the defensive side. You guys should be able to turn this from basically everything you look at. It's like, this is a bottom 10 defense as in the whole of the season. You should be able to get it back to where it was at the end of like 23 into 24.
But that still brings up my question, or at least the lingering doubt, I guess, which is if it's not going well on the defensive side of the ball for whatever reason, like, how does that get resolved?
And again, I'll harken back to Seattle, and we'll see if we get the same kind of reactiveness from Aaron Glenn that we got from Mike McDonald.
Sure.
Said,
okay.
Hey, this isn't working. Guess what? Hey, you're my leading tackler. You're not the kind of linebacker I want on my team, though. I can't foresee my defense as an 11-man unit working around you and got rid of 2 linebackers, brought in 2 other ones. Like, I wonder if we'll see him tinker as much and be like, hey, this isn't working. We're moving to this. This isn't working. Your snaps are cut. Your snaps are increased. The rotation is different. We're going to run more 3 defensive ends up front, a little more speed and, blitzing rather than trying to get pressure from some bigger bodies inside. I don't know. Like, but that's something I guess to watch for is like, if it's not working, are they just hitting their head against a wall and trying the same thing over and over and just keep giving up? And sometimes, sometimes that's your hand is forced. If you, it's like, hey, this is the best we can do. It's not good, but we don't have somebody on the bench that's just going to come in and save this team.
Yeah, right. Okay. Do you want to look at the schedule, or do you have any other thoughts on their draft?
No, I mean Membu. Somebody was very excited about like, oh, what a great pair. Like, what else were they going to do in that spot?
I think they were kicking around tight end.
They were, and I would have.
Weren't they sniffing around? Was it? Who are the 2 elite tight ends that got taken? Loveland and I forget the other guy.
Colston and oh man, why can't I think of the other guy?
Yeah, the guy that went out.
The draft is gone from my brain. There were sniffs of that. There were sniffs of what if Genty falls? Would they trade with someone who wants him? Yeah. I think, but it always kind of felt like to me that it was an offensive line pick. They took Armand Membu from Missouri. Supposed to, I mean, he's going to start. This is, Penny Sewell light. You should come in. You should be the right tackle immediately, and you should be average to above average. Some people thought the reach or the second pick, Mason Taylor, was a bit of a reach. Tight end, pick 42. He was good. 129 catches in college. He's a receiving tight end. You need tight end help. I guess I don't know a ton about his career at LSU. And then they got some help in the defensive backfield with Azariah Thomas. He's kind of he's an Aaron Glenn guy because you have Sauce already. You brought in, Brandon Stevens, and then you got this other guy, tall, big, long, whatever you want to use it. Like, you got your Aaron Glenn defensive backfield at this point. He's probably your 4th guy because Michael Carter is going to be your nickel slot guy, but it doesn't hurt to it's a great place to have depth. So probably a good pick if you like the guy and you think he's a fit. The rest of it is, depth.
Quick commentary on Darren Moogie. Is that how we're saying it?
Moogie? I say it like bougie. I say bougie like bougie.
Moogie. Darren Moogie.
If somebody in the chat wants to call me incorrect, by all means. But
I thought it was pretty notable that Moogie, like his first big moves as general manager, and they weren't his first, I know, sequentially, but the big moves of kind of giving Sauce and Garrett Wilson some flowers and then extending them relatively what's the right word? Generously? Extending them generously, I thought.
Generously and expeditiously.
That was a nice move. Those are talented pieces. That's who you want to build around. Those are elite positions. And nice job. The actions that Muji took that have me a little bit concerned about him and his potential tenure as general manager are the fact that he signed Justin Fields to be the quarterback, Josh Reynolds to fill out wide receiver depth, and then maybe most concerningly of all, Brandon Stevens and Andre Sisco, your two additions to the secondary here. Those guys were available for a reason. And
yeah,
I don't really know why they're Jets.
So Stevens, like I said, he fits the mold, but it's a downgrade from DJ Reed as your CB2. And then it's a
big step backwards.
Like other moves, you mentioned Josh Reynolds. I mean, they paid him like $3 million for a year, I guess, but it doesn't fix anything. Same thing with Tyler Johnson. He's like a wide receiver 4. He's bounced. I think he was actually drafted by Tampa, ended up with the Rams. He's depth at that point. And the thing about being like, hey, you're a wide receiver 4, but on this team, you might actually have to play.
I gotta imagine we're gonna see Thomas and Moore, the 2 draft choices, pretty early and pretty often this year. Because I really don't know that there's much scope for Stevens and Sisco to salvage things based on what I saw last year, at least. So, don't mean to be mean, but
I'm a little softer on Sisco just because of where he was playing, and I mean maybe
you mean on a historically bad defense playing.
Yeah, but I mean he was playing safe. If you remember, there were some cornerback injuries in Jacksonville, and that probably didn't reflect well upon him once you start grading how that secondary played. So, not that I'm saying I'm like pro Sisco and this is, hey, you've got an all pro free safety here, but I'm going to give him a little benefit of the doubt. If you get a good year out of Sauce and Michael Carter continues to improve, play like we've seen him play in flashes, it can be a good secondary. But yeah, it's you didn't do anything to inspire confidence with any of the moves. You brought in some tight ends, you brought in some secondary pieces, you brought in, like we said, Tyler Johnson. Your second best wide receiver is what, Alan Lazard at this point. The depth, it's not even depth. I mean, the guys behind the number ones, it's pretty suspect in a lot of spots. And like we said off the top, it's a roster that's got a ways to go. I don't think I have. Yeah,
let's put a bow in this. The other tight end Scott got it was Tyler Warren. He ended up going Colts 14. I think
Tyler Warren, Penn State, yeah.
I imagine that we can already pretty much pencil in the Jets draft choices in round 1 and round 2 next year. It is quarterback in round 1 and ball catcher in round 2.
Yeah.
The guy who catches ball.
Honestly, maybe
guy who runs the ball.
Yeah, it might be corner, wide receiver, linebacker.
Sure.
They'll have plenty of needs.
Okay. All right, let's look at their schedule. Got to imagine we won't be considering the Jets as a survivor choice this year. If you're playing Circus Survivor, you have the power and ability to steer clear of about 10 teams? You have to make like 22 total selections with all the extras?
Well, it'd be 20? 18 weeks plus Christmas and Thanksgiving is 20.
Okay, so it's just 20. Okay.
12 teams that you don't have to use.
Yeah. But you might have a hard decision to make week 10 when the mighty New York Jets, coming off their bye, welcome Dylan Gabriel and the Cleveland Browns to the friendly confines of the Meadowlands. That's a nice spot. And that might be a contrarian play that week. Who the hell knows?
A lot of red, and a lot
of dark red early too.
Yeah. And as Sam's pointing out, you got the double revenge wife swap game, week 1 with Pittsburgh. Not that
swap.
I don't think like Justin Fields has some like strong ties to the Pittsburgh community, and same thing with Aaron Rodgers. I mean, he played 10 games.
It's the double revenge because it's like all of the Jets' chance to get a revenge on Rodgers, and it's Rodgers' chance to get revenge on the Jets organization. I think Fields is just along for the ride, right?
Yeah, Fields is just happy to be there.
We're assuming, by the way, that his dislocated toe is of no consequence, and he will be very much fully operational week 1.
It did sound like, the time frame on that. We didn't mention the injury. Good on you to bring that up. It did sound like it happened early enough that he should be okay by week 1, unless there's unforeseen circumstances around his toe. Real quick, your theory about the defensive effort being like, I'm sick of carrying this team. Aaron Rodgers sucks ass.
Yeah.
It would be interesting if we got just a hair on fire game.
Oh, hell yes.
Right out of the gates. Like the Jets defense is looking like, they're the this year's defensive version of the Saints week 1. Like, oh my God.
Yeah.
What was that?
AJ says, I don't know how those two offenses score 40 combined points week 1. I strongly agree. These two, and then granted this time of year, defense is ahead of offenses. It sounds to me at least like the Jets and Pittsburgh's offenses outside the Saints might be the two most dysfunctional right now. And yeah, I don't think that gets fixed between now and September 7th.
And even if he is ready to go by week 1, he's missing time.
He's missing important
time. Working with the offense during camp and preseason.
Yeah. He was doing 11 on 11 drills, whatever that entails, I suppose. So he may be just getting a normal amount of reps, but whatever the case is, it may not matter anyway. So let's see how it goes. But I guess the key point I see is that maybe you beat Pittsburgh week 1, you're at home. Your team wants to light a fire under, like you said, hair on fire type of game for them. Maybe 11
to 7.
Yeah. Oh my God. It does have like a 8 to 7, 9 to 7 type of final score in mind. 8 points seems reasonable, right? Like, 4 safeties. Anyway, in seriousness, the Jets, to me at least, are going to be very, very, very. It's hard to convince me that they're not going to be in an 0-4-ish hole after that first 4-week start, which then begets my questions of, well, does Aaron Glenn's leadership and adult in the room nature get the most out of the defense at that point? Or are they like, well, we're still being let down by our offense. Like, we can't do this again. We're back to the same problems of age and exhaustion and fatigue and all that, and that they just don't rally. And do they stick with Fields' experiment? And do they even feel like they have a mandate to win this year? Right? Like, all of these questions are swirling for me if they get off to a 1-5, even a 2-4 start through 6 weeks. That Denver game does not look great. You got to go play an absolutely gnarly defense internationally. Week 12, you lose a home game. The fact that you get some, just in general, some very tilted matchups against you in the first 6 weeks of the season doesn't feel like there's going to be much room for like the intangibles making a difference for Aaron Glenn.
Yeah, what's the only good news is that your Denver game isn't in Denver, I guess. But it's still, you're losing a home game.
Yeah. I mean, I guess there's good news is also that game at Miami is a night game. So you don't have to go to Miami in September and sweat it out on the sideline. And also, Miami might have imploded to the tune of you're not 5.5 point dogs in that game. That's entirely within scope. As spoiler alert, we will be covering Miami tomorrow. It turns out, as they have now slid to third choice in the AFC East. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, Miami gets extra rest for that game. Cincinnati gets extra rest for that game week 8, where you're now still feeling the disadvantages of their international travel because you are not taking your bye after your trip to London town. And then, the part of the schedule where you really could see like we quote unquote, have turned the corner and things are now starting to look better for the Jets, is the time of the year where if you're winning games like Cleveland, Atlanta, Miami, Jacksonville, New Orleans, New England, if you're winning those games from week 10 to week 17, you're just taking yourself out of draft position to replace Fields, right? And that kind of,
and the fans are mad. Like, oh, good,
yeah,
oh, good, we beat the Dolphins. Good.
They get to their bye week. They thought we would have a couple wins by this point, but we lost to Carolina even, and here we are at 0-8 going into the bye. We're starting to now really sincerely scout quarterbacks in college football. We're just going to watch a lot of college football in November and December, Andy, Jets fans. And then all of a sudden you compile 4 to 5 wins down the stretch. And you're picking 10
and we're
again.
drafted, yeah. And we're drafted 7th instead. Yeah.
I mean, this is kind of how it's going to go, right?
Probably. I mean, like you said, at worst case, Cleveland, Miami, New Orleans, you're getting 3, 4, 5 wins. Even if this is, out of the range of outcomes, if this is clearly at the bottom,
yeah,
you're still beating some of those teams, especially
absolutely.
at home.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you're not getting the first overall pick, but
there might be enough quarterbacks in this draft that you get one.
I think it's many a slip twixt the cup and the lip, and things can happen. Who knows? We could have some injuries. We could have some quarterbacks not play very well. It might not be as strong as we think, but all signs are pointing to this being a strong quarterback class. And yeah, I think if you are a strong Jets fan, this is your take the medicine year. Even though you've been taking your medicine for 14 fucking years. That's the last time you made the playoffs, by the way.
Is this the longest gap?
I feel like it has to be.
It has to be, probably, right?
That's such a long gap, dude. I mean, that was like butt fumble territory. 14 years?
That was probably the butt fumble year, or the year after it. I think the butt fumble year was Thanksgiving 2012. That's my guess. So yeah.
Either way,
yeah,
it's a long time ago, but yeah, I think you're rooting for this
Jets
this
butt
season
fumble game.
Really go
AI knows.
AI.
It was November 22nd, 2012.
2012.
Okay. All right. Sorry, man. Any other final thoughts on the schedule here? Not a lot to say travel or rest wise outside of what we've already covered.
No, you get the double dip in Florida early on. Those could be warm games, I guess. You're going to be put on the at least the Miami one is night. It should be a little cooler. You won't be in the midday sun like they do to, hey, guess what sideline you get? That they always do. And they'll show us the 2 thermometers on the opposite sidelines and let us know the difference. But still, yeah, it's tough teams, some tough travel. And then you get the combination of tough travel and a tough team in Denver and London and Tottenham in an early game. That'll be fun. If they are really bad and the Denver turns out good, that'll be a fun one to wake up and just lay with Denver. Say, I don't care.
Andy, the New York Jets currently have the longest playoff drought in the NFL, having last made the postseason 14 seasons ago in 2010. Following them, the Atlanta Falcons and the Carolina Panthers each have a blank season drought.
I think it's 7.
7.
No, because Atlanta has been since the year.
Yeah, amazing.
2017, the
28-3 year.
Yeah, the postseason.
Wow.
I did see an infographic about each team's biggest comeback, and Carolina was dead last in that as well.
Oh.
They had never had a comeback over 17 points. Every other team was in the 20s. Minnesota was 33. Thank you, Jeff.
I remember that one.
Yes.
I remember that one. That was incredible.
If you are, and we encourage you to, heading out to Vegas and signing up for Survivor or the Circa Millions, we cannot strongly recommend using the Jets this year. It's probably, unless you really need to get, strongly contrarian. I think there'll be some spots to use them in Circa Millions for sure, but probably not. Not on my list.
We're gonna have a serious talk about it week 10 for sure. Against Cleveland?
maybe. We'll see.
Oh, for sure.
We'll see how the defense is playing. That's another one. That's another one where it could be.
Yeah,
ugly.
I forgot to mention Cleveland among the most dysfunctional offenses right now. They're up there too.
Yeah, I'm saying that
Cleveland and the Saints, I feel like, are in their own conversation. But the next conversation starts with Pittsburgh and the Jets.
When both team totals are 18.5, a lot of bad stuff can happen. And I don't know if I want to lay it with the Jets there. But just feel what if Cleveland's defense is back?
What if there's weather in that game?
And it's just a windy November day. The mistake on the lake is rocking a 40-mile-an-hour crosswind.
Oh, that one's in New York actually, so it's not going to be that kind of a weather. But the Meadowlands always has nasty weather too. Yeah,
it does blow
the wind. I feel like is always under counted in the Meadowlands. Personally, that's my opinion. All right. Well, that was fun. Where are we at? Ratings wise with these guys?
It's not like you have a rookie kicker.
Oh, do they?
Oh, wait.
They needed to replace that guy.
Undrafted free agent. I mean, yeah, it would have been fine. Reports from camp are not glowing about either kicker. They're saying like
this is a
quote from one of the reporters. Should we start with special teams?
Sure.
But a quote from one of the beat reporters was he turned to another reporter and asked, did he do that on purpose? He missed a field goal that was so short. So it's pretty rough because it's like two undrafted free agent or Harrison Mevis and Caden Davis. I think one of them is an undrafted free agent. And the other one, I think, spent some time in the XFL / UFL / whatever it's called. So this is and you have a new punter who is another Austin McNamara. It's a strong 2.5.
2.5 for the
It's a strong 2.5. So yeah,
that was one of their bright spots last year. I hadn't updated that one because I was waiting for your report. That actually hurts them.
Yes.
Okay. That was one of their stronger ones. Anyway, quarterback OC rating for me is a 2.3. This is pretty low. This is below replacement level, and this is above. This is above Mayday catastrophe, which is like a 1.5. But this is bad. I think this is my 31st of 32.
Oh, I mean, OC is when you start putting OC in, it's different, but Cleveland is very much in the mix. And same thing with, I think New Orleans is definitely behind them, but there's not many teams I can make a case to be behind them. I have a 2.5.
New Orleans is my 32.
Yeah, that's got to be.
Cleveland is my 31. The Jets are my 30.
Yeah, I think that's kind of where I'm at too. I don't have everything up. I sorted by division. I'm only looking at the East right now, but 2.5, brand new first time play caller / Justin Fields. Like I said, I tried to do some devil's avocado and find some positive Field stuff. There's potential. We just haven't seen it. So it's starting very low here.
I'm probably going up to a 3 if they announce Tyrod.
I will remain unchanged.
Just because I think Tyrod's skill set kind of matches better, at least what Lions did. Fields is such a sideline merchant, and I don't understand. I mean, Wilson can make those circus catches on the sideline, but
Tyrod took the Bills to the playoffs, man.
Yeah, he's perfectly capable game manager to get you to 5 wins and get you out of first overall pick territory. All right, skill group for me is 3.5. Garrett Wilson and a bunch of blech.
We are, lockstep. 3.5 for me as well. Breece, I get it that Breece Hall doesn't have the shine that he once has, but there's still potential there to, return to form that we saw right off the bat rookie year. Garrett Wilson's very good, but from there it is gross.
I actually have
Alan Lazard and a bunch of it's Alan Lazard and a bunch of guys that we don't know much about. It's Josh Reynolds, Tyler Johnson, Malachi Corley, Xavier Gibson, Arian Smith, the rookie 4th round draft pick. wide receiver / tight end. And then the tight end rule, like we talked about. The rookie is listed as your number 1 tight end because you got Stone Smart and Jeremy Ruckert as, the rest of your tight end room. Isaiah Davis, Kenny Nwangu is some of your backup running backs. It's pretty bare.
Okay. I got a weird ass prediction, which is number 1. I don't know for sure that Lazard is a lock to make this team. They could elect to go youth. And I got another funny prediction for you is I kind of feel like early in the season, we'll probably see a spot start from someone they pick up off the waiver wire as other teams are making cuts.
Yeah.
This doesn't.
They restructured. Lazard took a pay cut to stay. So maybe.
Okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah, maybe they keep him. I assume just because, unless like 2 or 3 of these other guys surprise, he's probably good to have around to help him out, if nothing else.
Well, I don't know if you saw it, but the Pittsburgh Steelers cut Cordero Patterson, so they got a spot open if they want to bring in a Lazard.
He's old as shit too, though.
Excited to see who the next Cordero Patterson is for Art Smith, though. He's got to have somebody in mind. You don't cut Cordero Patterson without having a plan to a succession plan. All right. Offensive line is actually the bright spot of the entire offense for me. I'm at 5.5. Where are you?
So I started there. I started actually a little higher, and I'm all the way down at a 4.75.
Oh, really? What are the concerns for you?
Couldn't quite pencil in we're very excited about Amon Membu. He still has never played an NFL snap.
That's true.
So I couldn't say, hey, this guy's going to come in and be replacement level tackle on day 1. That said, week 2, 3, 5, maybe I'm very excited about Olu Fashanu and Armand Membu as a tackle combo. Right now, big question marks. It's funny, we dogged on John Simpson a little because we said, hey, people leave Baltimore for a reason on the offensive line. Decent year. Good guards.
Yeah, he was good.
Good guards. Tippmann's, he's not great, but he's close. Like everybody in the middle is not top 10, but they ain't far off. It's like above average, but you ain't quite top 10 for me in the center of this offensive line with John Simpson, Elijah Vera Tucker when healthy, and Joe Tippmann. And then question marks at tackle like we've had forever. So slightly below average, but I think it can come up. And this is a good point by Lipscomb.
Yeah. It's the opposite it's the opposite of the Mahomes problem. Yeah.
It feels like it should be opposite. We should be like, hey, we have a younger quarterback. Maybe he'll take less sacks than the old statue. Actually, be that guy. Aaron Rodgers gets rid of the ball really quick. And he's usually
last year he was.
It was hit or miss at times, but he's usually a boon to an offensive line because he can get some pretty quick hitters out there and make you look a lot better than you are. And Fields can eat some sacks at times. Yeah. So it's going to be hard to grade this team. And you wonder, from a grading standpoint, I almost want to see some Tyrod just to see like, oh my God, Justin Fields was just dragging this rookie down.
It could be. I mean, the fact that Membu gets to play right tackle is pretty nice. And I think that's his natural position too, right? I actually, my grades on all 3 in the interior are just solid B, B, B. These are good interior linemen. I thought Fashanu certainly had some upside. I don't exactly remember why he only started 7 games. I guess they gave Teron Smith 10 starts last year. And Fashanu outplayed him in 7 starts from my numbers. So he's got promise.
He had the plantar fasciitis.
I think this is a good unit.
Yeah, it was plantar fasciitis. Yeah, it was the end of the year. I think he ended the year with the foot injury. And he got shut down, and they.
Just for context, by the way, the Fields conversation the last time he was a full-time starter for the Bears, Plan A. His quarterback pressure, sack, and time to throw numbers were all 5th percentile. This was he was a true sack merchant. Like this was pretty outrageous. He's up there with he clearly was more poor than Zach Wilson, Will Levis, this was a bad performance from him in terms of being able to deal with the pressure.
I had a harder time with it. So 4.75 is. I know you're higher, and I'm willing to go higher once I see it. But
man,
I'm very curious to see what your defense is.
Average time to throw for Russell Wilson that year was 3.23 seconds. The next longest was Russell Wilson at 3.06. He was holding on 0.2 longer than anyone else on average, which is crazy. Constantly under pressure and sacked all the time. This was 2 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, that is funny. The Steelers saw all the tape on those two guys in 2023 and said, "We'll get them both. We'll just go get them. We'll get them both. Get them both."
We're like a patient quarterback.
All right. The Jets score for me in totality is the 27th best offense. Their defense for me, run stop
for me.
Run stop for me is 4.6.
Where are you seeing the improvements? Real quick on run stop, because I'm at a 4.
You're at a 4,
and I thought that was being maybe even a little generous looking at some of the stats from last year. Is it just better linebacker play, better?
I'm not actually sure there's going to be much in the way of improvements, I suppose.
It was weird looking at this defense because I again, you look at the names on here and some of these stats for individual players and some of the pass rush and run block win rates and everything. Like, how is this a 20th ranked defense?
Yeah,
it doesn't like jive. And at the same time, I can't punch numbers in here to make this a top 10 or even a top 15 defense. I don't think.
Ooh, I'm right there. But mostly it's fueled by the pass rush, which I like. Yeah. I think that's their strength. Okay. I don't know. Maybe I'm high at 4.6. I don't know. I got there by looking at run block win rate and EPA per rush and success rate, and did a blended Z score and made no adjustments for personnel change. So I'm basically assuming it's the same run defense that finished the year last year.
Okay.
And it's a little worse than average. Maybe that's wrong.
This is another good point. Yeah, the effort did look just bad at times. You saw this at times from. I'm trying to think of the game from Cleveland where they just played like nuts. Do you remember that? Where Cleveland's defense had their one plant the flag game.
Yeah,
it's like fuck. This is what it's crazy what effort looks like and how you'll just, for the most part, you'll never know when it's coming or when it's not. But when you see a lot of missed tackles from teams that don't miss tackles, that always just feels like an effort thing. And that's a good point by Sam. Like the missed tackle rate and just some of the angles that were taken sometimes later in the year. It's like, oh my God, this team's checked the fuck out.
Yeah. All right. My pass rush is 7. That's the highest score of any Jets unit at all for me. And I think this is the right time to tap. They have a really nice combo between Quinn Williams and Will McDonald all of a sudden. If Jermaine Johnson is healthy and ready to go, I think all of a sudden your front four looks pretty good, pretty capable of getting after the QB. I like their pass rush win rate. I like their pressure numbers generally. And I think I don't know that this will be clearly a top 10 unit at the end of the year, but I think that's a reasonable place to start. They just may not be able to utilize it much because they're not going to be in game states where pass rush is going to matter as much, I don't think. So could be a little bit of a wasted strength.
Yeah. Jermaine Johnson, I think, is cleared. He should be good to go now. He had I'll go with the hockey terminology, a lower body injury, just because I can't think of what it was. I'm at a 5.75. I like it. I love Will McDonald. I think you have one of the best interior, pass rushers / just overall defenders in Quinnen Williams, but I don't know that I'm in love with the rest of it from there.
Okay.
And you certainly, I don't think the depth at pass rush is very good. Like, you're probably going to be cycling in, some of these people you brought in, Derek Nottie in the middle. You're going to be cycling in the rookie Tyler Barron. And I don't know that I love the depth after the high end, because Will McDonald, I think, could be, there's a chance at the end of the year where he's one of the guys we're talking about for defensive player of the year, where it's like, hey, he's in the mix, because fucker, just what are we gonna do? He has 16 sacks. We got to talk about him. And the same thing with Quinnen Williams. He's electric, but the rest of it drags it down a little.
Yeah, I had a good score for Quincy Williams. I have a great score for Quinnen Williams. As far as depth goes,
what about Sherwood?
Sherwood, fine score. Sherwood and Clemens. Clemens is your depth piece at pass rush. He's pretty decent too. 27-year-old guy. These guys are all like kind of right in their prime.
Sherwood was. So I like Sherwood a lot, and he's another one too that they
24-year-old kid from Auburn.
Yeah, they did I don't know if it was a re-signing or an extension, where they locked him up for 3 more years, and they liked him quite a bit. So I kind of got to trust Glenn on that as well.
Okay. What was your pass rush score?
5.75.
Okay. How about coverage? I am at a 3.5 for coverage, because after Sauce Gardner, it's pretty weak all of a sudden.
I wondered which way you were going to go with that.
It's a weakling system, man.
So that's
you know what my game plan is for not letting Sauce Gardner impact our offense is throw to the other side at Brandon Stevens.
If you divide the field in half and then determine which side he's on and pick on the other side.
Yeah. See number 21, throw at him.
I went with 4. I'm a Michael Carter guy. I had him rated pretty well. Like you said, it's iffy from there, especially with the new signings. They did bring in some depth as well, but it's crazy. You have one of the best corners, and he had a down year last year, but it's still below average as a whole.
Yeah, his trend overall was a little weird, and I thought his coverage was fine. I think mostly he was correctly getting flack for being a problem in just in terms of the run stop, people running at him, and just in general being able to take him out of the game in that way. I don't know if that's fixable. We'll see. I'm okay. Michael Carter is fine. I'm not running to scream his praises, really. I think this is a bad unit overall, and it's probably their weakest part of their defense, the coverage, in my opinion. So, all told, I'm 16th best defense.
Same.
Okay. We talked about special teams.
But yeah.
We talked about special teams. I have no idea what to do with the coaching. I'm just at a 5. Assuming you're getting that rah, spirit from Glenn to get these guys to try hard. But I also have huge questions about how he fits with Wilkes and who makes the decisions on the adjustments if things are going wrong defensively. And I don't really understand how all the pieces fit together, as we talked about off the top. So can't give him better than a 5, but certainly could stand to be corrected if we see different. What do you think of his potential as being kind of cut from the Dan Campbell cloth for aggressiveness and 4th down decision making and all that shit?
It's an upgrade, I think, at head coach as far as leader of men, but I haven't seen him make decisions as a head coach yet. And I guess maybe is this a stereotype? Is this just me being a bigot against defensive coaches? It's anti-defensive, anti-DC, but it just feels like defensive coordinators are going to be less likely to roll the dice on 4th downs, roll the dice on deciding whether it's a go or a kick or a punt. You don't want to put the defense in a bad position. It goes in their head. It doesn't seem like defensive coaches tend to be more aggressive when it comes to the analytics and making the proper play calls when it comes to that. So he's knew everything basically in the leadership department. So I went with a 4.
Okay.
And it's crazy too, is he's older than Dan Campbell. It's not like he's, Dan Campbell is some mentor to him. And I guess Campbell's an offensive guy, isn't he? He was a tight end, baby.
Yeah, he was. Okay. My total number then for the Jets is a minus 1.98. They qualify as my 25th best NFL team.
How are we? So what do you have them as for a percentile?
0.383.
Okay, I'm a 0.36. I might have to look at where I'm pulling my numbers because it wants to give it like a negative 3.5 for that. So this is a question that came up with somebody in a DM
what's going on here? Yeah. You're correct. 383 should be a 3.5. I must have indexed something wrong. I got to double check.
Yeah, this was tough too. So this turned into an issue with trying to figure out this win percentage is this, a spread against a neutral team, and I ended up not liking the first 8 ways I did this, and I have a VLOOKUP chart that is just 1,000 rows long, where it goes out to like the 1,000th spot. So it's like a 3.6, a 3 or a 36.83 is this, a 36.84 is this. I did a lot of filling in, and so I can just automatically find it because none of the conversions were how I wanted them when it came down to it, because so much was based around key numbers, and you don't want it based around key numbers. I want it to just be a comparison to the neutral team. So yeah, actually here, where's mine? Mine is a negative 3.94 for the Jets compared to a neutral team.
Okay. That
which is funny too.
Seems more right than my number.
Because there were times at the end of the season, not at the very end, but I wanted to look at how low I had New England. And there were times New England was a -6 last year, which is funny because there hasn't been that much that's changed on the New England team and roster. And there's your second favorite to win this division. Just fun for them.
Well,
and their fans got a break.
Spoiler alert. I'm not coming up with favorable numbers for the Pats.
I'm not coming up with favorable numbers for anyone but the Bills.
Yeah, no, I just mean like I think that Pats alt under win is going to be one of my stronger plant the flag takes. It's just a really incomplete team. Not sure, other than the fact that you potentially have wins against the likes of the Jets and the Dolphins if the Dolphins implode. Not sure what else some people are seeing with the Patriots.
What's your question, Bernie? Just put a question mark.
Okay, we will I guess odds wise, the Jets are I assume they're 1,000,000 to 1 to win the Super Bowl. That's not bettable. It's 250. Sorry, excuse me. Plus 25168.
It's about the same as the Rams that year they won.
Were they plus 25168? 251? I don't think so.
Yeah, and again, correction for me. Yes, the defense, they did make a bunch of moves on the defense for the Patriots, but again, the defense moves the needle about half as much as the offense, where I would have liked to see some actual substantial, hey, we got a quarterback. This might be it. Let's fix this. And granted, this is not a Patriots podcast, but they had so many different holes, and they went with defense for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
No, don't get me wrong. Like when I get through my numbers, the Patriots are for sure the second best team in this division by my numbers. It's just the gap between the Bills and everybody else is about as big as
Anyway,
I'd have to go look. About as
It's
big
the-
as I've ever had for a division.
it's up. Yeah. It's certainly this year. It's the biggest. The Jets are 19-1 to win the AFC East. I don't think that's very likely, so I will not be betting that. The regular season wins for the Jets. The numbers are, I'm assuming, all right around 6.5. Let's see. 5.5.
It's 5.5.
Over 5.5 is minus 155. So if you have some, I don't know, sickness, you can play over 5.5 Jets wins and hope they get to 6. Under 4.5 is plus 305. That's kind of interesting because if there's no mandate to win and if it's not working, and they elect to tank, I would laud them, I guess. 4.5. 4-13 is very, very possible with that schedule. Plus 305.
I don't think I'm in the business of betting though. And it's tough too because worst record is it's going to look awful good until they get to that last stretch, and be like, shit out of luck on that, as they rattle off 3 wins in 5 weeks.
I think there's so little upside with the quarterback that this is one to just fire under 4.5 and
On the alt line, sure.
on the alt line. I'm gonna play it under 4.5 for the New York Jets. Let's get a top 5 pick next year, guys. Let's fix this quarterback situation.
Oh, be nice. We're rooting for you. We're rooting for you, Gangrene. It's been too long. At a certain point, 14 years is too long. I mean, let's call a spade a spade. It's going to be 15 years. They're not making the playoffs this year. That doesn't seem very feasible at all. So it ends at 15.
Yeah. I like that. All right. Good job. We'll talk Dolphins tomorrow. That's going to be a weird podcast.
Yeah.
I don't know what in the world to take away from their perceived their outwardly projected dysfunction.
That's roster looks like he dropped a puzzle on the floor. Like, okay, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah. Excited to hear your CB1 Storm Duck.
Sam with a late addition in the chat says he likes Wilson to be the reception leader at 40-1. That's a big number. Fields loves to. He is going to get some targets.
They're going to be in a trailing state a lot. He's going to get about 170 targets. I could see it.
I was going to say 200 targets is not